Welcome to Chadwick Equities International Webinar Series, and a big hello to all of our viewers out there today, wherever you might be from. Today's webinar is the first of a five-part series covering a variety of international markets, all of which I'm sure you're going to find to be exciting, informative, but most importantly, very, very compelling. But before we get started, and by way of a brief introduction, who are we at Chadwick Equity? We are a dedicated international real estate investment company, and I will emphasize that word investment. We don't help clients find homes or second homes to live in, but we are very much dedicated and specialize in investment real estate for people offshore. We were established in 2005, but we have over a decade of experience between Australia and the United States particularly. We're your local connection for international acquisition, and so while we're based primarily here in the United States, we do have a market presence in the various marketplaces that we do deal in. We cover every facet of the process, from acquisition to finance to property management. We also help with other parts of the process for you as well, including portfolio optimization when that time comes. And we understand the regulations, and most importantly, we can help you to successfully navigate any potential pitfalls that might exist with international real estate because we've been there, we've done it, and we continue to do it. So that's a little bit about us. And moving straight into, as I said, what is the first of a five-part series, today we're going to cover Melbourne, Australia. And for anyone out there that has experience in the marketplace or has perhaps received a market report from us in the past, or have heard us on the radio or at a presentation, I urge you to pay particular attention to the messaging in today's webinar, just because of the fact that it's probably going to be a little bit different, and different from the standpoint of the fact that I believe it's a very timely message that I have for everyone today. And so that begs the question, well, why Melbourne, and why now? You know, all markets are cyclical, and you know, there is a time to get in, there's a time to get out, but why Melbourne and why now? And why is it that I think that we should look at this marketplace today as opposed to a couple of years ago, even when we felt that it was performing well? Well, it's because real estate in Melbourne is experiencing what I like to refer to as the perfect storm. You know, there's a lot of fundamentals when it comes to investing in real estate, and very rarely do you get all of those in complete alignment. But what you'll see from today's presentation is that we have most fundamentals, you know, really firing on all cylinders right now. And so, if you haven't been to Melbourne, is it the world's most livable city? Well, in fact, it's been voted the world's most livable city twice, and most recently is 2006. But you'll see here from some of the pictures on the screen just how vibrant and how cultural the city is, and just the wonderful architecture. It's a very modern city, but nonetheless, it's a warm and inviting city, particularly for those folks that are visiting it for the first time. So just some statistical information for you to give you a brief introduction before we delve into some of the more detailed information. Melbourne, if you haven't been there, is a population of almost 4 million people. It's experiencing an unprecedented growth rate right now. Its expected population is going to reach 6.2 million by the year 2020. And you know, we thought 2020 was a long way off just a short time ago, and you know, where do the years go? We're at the year 2009 now, so it's just around the corner, but looking to grow by another 2.2 million in the next 11 years. It's the fastest growing city in Australia. I'm going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the developed world right now, and I think given you know, global financial downturn of a lot of major marketplaces, that's a really interesting bullet point that I have there on the screen. And again, I'm going to delve into that in greater detail. Low employment right now, and we have unprecedented employment growth, in fact, in multiple sectors. So if you haven't been there, just a couple of pictures here just to show you exactly how beautiful Melbourne is. This is just out of the metropolitan area, a place called the 12 Apostles. Here is a beautiful waterfront development that we've been involved in for some 3 years now, called the Docklands, which is right downtown in Melbourne, waterfront development. Here is the largest residential building in the world. In fact, located in Melbourne, it's called the Eureka Tower, and I think it's about 90 stories. I don't have an exact height in terms of meters or feet, but as you can see there, it just dwarfs all of the other buildings around it. Just such a beautiful and iconic building. Here's Melbourne's Crown Casino. If you have been there, chances are you've probably been to the casino. It's just a very exciting entertainment precinct, and a very big tourist attraction for a lot of people that go there. So let's get into it. Let's get into the nuts and bolts and start talking about why this is such a compelling marketplace today. You know, growth amid global downturn. That's an interesting comment. You know, let's look at Economics 101, and I've got a chart for you here on the screen. But Economics 101 in my books is a simple case of supply and demand. And you look at the first chart there, and this is about a 20-year history from 1989 down now through to 2009, and it's the projected shortfall of residential properties in the marketplace. And if you take a look from the years 1989 all the way through until 1998, you'll see what we had was quite a large surplus of housing. And we've seen the opposite actually from 1998 onwards. So for a little over a decade, that gap has just been continuing to get wider and wider. And in fact, what we now find is that we're about 200,000 dwellings short on supply, which is putting a lot of pressure on rents. If you have a look at the demand segment of that page there, the chart 2. That's the annual net growth in population, and you can see that from this graph goes back all the way from 1789 to 1989. So for 200 years there, just very, very steady growth, but starting to peak now, and we're going to talk about that here in closer detail in a minute in terms of what the population growth means to Melbourne and just where is it and what is it doing. But it's very important. You'll see here implications for you as a renter or as a first-time home buyer in 2009, which is what this article was written for, is that number one, rents are going to rocket, and I've got some good statistical information on that. House prices are going to rise strongly, and it won't be long before investors return, pushing up housing prices even more, which is starting to happen now in the marketplace. The key here is that it's a